Hello, everyone. Welcome to my master class on how to heal your relationship with food. I'm super excited about this class because this is something new and I'm showing up in a different way. So, let's get started. And I kind of want to introduce myself and talk about my journey. So, my name is Serena Lewis, and I am a holistic health coach, yoga teacher, trainer, healer, podcaster, and so much more. But my health and wellness journey started about 5 years ago. And I kind of started my health and wellness journey because I have ADHD, ADD, dyslexia, and all these things. And I was a very high energy child and still am high energy. Very pitta, very high energy, high strung, always on the go. And 5 years ago, I was struggled with anxiety and I was never able to relax and quiet my mind. And so decided that I'm going to try yoga. And yoga taught me so much. It taught me how to relax my body, how to focus my mind, how to heal my physical body and deal with physical pain in my body. And it also taught me the basics of loving myself. It taught me about intuitive listening and kind of taught me about balance. And so in 2016, I decided that I was going to drop out of college and share my love of yoga with others and became a full time yoga teacher. And in 2019, I started my first yoga school, New Moon Yoga Teacher Training, and decided that I was going to certify yoga teachers because I am so passionate about healing others. And I thought the best way to heal others at that time was to teach other people how to heal others. And so being ADHD and ADD meant I was on medication basically my whole life. And so I was on medication from second grade, and I was on a really high dose of medication. Since I was on the medicine. And in 2020, I began to have some health problems of extreme anxiety. I had heart problems because I was very overstimulated. And I felt like I had to take medication in order to function and do my day to day life because I was on it from a young age. I never really learned how to build solid routine when I wasn't on my medication. I had a horrible relationship with food when I was off my medication. I binged eat, and I just would overeat, and I didn't have a good relationship with food. I was anxious whenever I was with food, and I started dieting at a very young age. I didn't know I was dieting, but I would restrict myself from certain foods. I would skip meals sometimes, and but all areas of my life were pretty messed up, even though I did yoga. So I decided that in 2020, I'm going to go ahead and get off all my medication, including birth control, and did this cold turkey. And it wasn't easy, but I did it. And it was hard. And I had to shift my focus on creating structure in my life. I had to create better relationships with food, and I had to work a lot on my mental health. And so my clients are typically people who are somewhat or very similar to me and what I go through. And the way that I help heal my clients and my students is through the power of learning. I educate my students on Eastern medicine, philosophies, nutrition, and yoga. I teach nutrition, I teach intuitive eating and spirituality and healthy lifestyle practices. And I help women build their wellness toolbox that they can use for a lifetime. And this is what I'm here to do with you today. So, I want to talk about what we'll cover. So, we are going to cover why focusing on weight loss isn't helpful. We'll talk about why an anti diet approach is the best way to take care of your health. We'll talk about the binge restrict cycle and how to eat more mindfully and in an intuitive way. We'll understand why you're struggling with emotional eating and what we can focus on instead. So let's jump right in and talk about why focusing on weight isn't helpful. So, if weight loss is in your mind and this is the only reason why you move, the only reason why you're eating healthy, this intention of wanting to lose weight isn't big enough. It's not deep enough. It's not sustainable. And if when you don't have immediate results, you can often give up and miss out on life. And also, if weight loss is your only intention to get well, or when it comes to wellness, it can actually cause more binge eating. So instead, a good intention would be, I am choosing to eat the food I eat or move my body because it feels good for me. And this is why 95% of diets fail, because the intention is only on weight loss. And you might notice a similar pattern with movement if you only move or eat to lose weight and not for any other reason. So it's almost impossible to keep up a long-term intention if it's weight loss. And so, which also then causes yo yo dieting and results in lots of fluctuations. So, let's talk about why it's important to take an anti diet approach, because diets, number one, they don't work. They just don't work. It causes us, we're restricting, and it causes us to binge and lose control when it comes to food. So, intuitive eating is really, really important and allows you to be the best boss of your health. Diets are proven not to work long time, so it's the only option for sustainable health and change. And so when I say intuitive eating does not mean you eat whatever the hell you want whenever the hell you want. It's more than that. And I will jump into it. So, also, having an anti diet approach promotes health without obsession. Now, there is so many times when I felt like when I was on a diet, I was so obsessed about what I could and what I couldn't eat. And anti-diet approach allows you to focus on your health without obsessing about the numbers, tracking and restriction. And it allows you to intuitive eating allows you to tune into your own body for the answers. So, it also having an anti-diet approach also allows you to focus on what you really need. A lot of times food can just be a distraction from the way we are actually feeling. And I love to use this example. So, me and my brother, we love to spend time together. And one of our favorite things to do is when we're together is to go get boba tea. And I love boba tea, but having boba tea every single day, though I could drink boba tea every day for the rest of my life, it's not something that really is going to make me quote unquote feel good. So sometimes when I'm craving boba tea, sometimes like, oh, I'm just craving boba tea. I'm craving boba tea. But it's not that I'm craving boba tea, it's that I'm craving spending time with my brother. So, what I really need is connection. So, I have to stop and ask myself that. So, now let's kind of talk about the binge restrict cycle. And this is probably what you do if you are listening to the video or if you're anything like me. And this was basically my whole life starting when I was like 14, 15 years old, when I had bad body image. And they say women or girls as young as 9 years old have body image problems, and start dieting at a very young age. So I started the binge and restrict cycle. And the binge and restrict cycle is like, oh my gosh, you see this new diet, you feel hopeful, you're excited. It might even be you're so excited about this new wellness routine. And then we're so excited. We have the motivation. So we start restricting and tracking and counting and measuring and depriving ourselves of what we really want. And then once we start depriving, we start the cravings, and we start craving the forbidden or bad food. And then those craving becomes intolerable and ends up leading us to have very high irritability and mood swings and anger. And then we lose control and we end up binge eating or overeating. So then comes the feelings of guilt and shame. And so, going back to craving the forbidden or bad foods, I don't like to look at food that way. I like to look at food as a mood enhancer or a mood depressor. How is this food going to make me feel? Is it going to enhance feel good feelings, or is it going to promote depressing feelings? So, what do we do? In order to see results and heal our relationship with food, we must focus on weight, but focus on we must not focus on weight, but we must focus on overall health and the way that we feel. If you strive to feel your best and act in alignment with where you want your health to be, you will get there, I promise. But it's also important to enjoy the journey and not make those decisions out of restriction. So here's an example. Sometimes or before, I would crave like chips, and my favorite kind of chips were, and I haven't had them in a long time because I don't crave them anymore, but Doritos Cool Ranch. I love those chips. And when I was on my diet, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to give myself a treat and I'm going to have these chips. And I could literally eat a whole family size bag of chips. And after that, I would feel my stomach would hurt. I would be laying on the couch and couldn't move. And it could be, yours could be candy, chocolate, cookies. It can be whatever it is. But reality, it wasn't that I was craving the Doritos chips. I was craving something with a crunch. And so that's what my body needed, something with a crunch. And so now I think about whenever if I'm craving those foods, it's not that I'm craving those foods, it's that I'm craving something with a crunch. And if I think back to how I felt when I ate that huge whole bag of Doritos, I actually felt pretty horrible. I didn't feel good. It didn't make me feel my best self. So then I can think of, oh, well, how did you feel when you ate, I don't know, a bag of popcorn? Well, I felt a lot better. So I'm going to go with the food that makes me feel good. This is what it is for me with sweets now. It's like I used to crave, and I still crave brownies sometimes, but I used to crave like cake, brownies, candy, all sorts of food. And I'm to the point where, you know what? I do need something sweet. I'll reach for the fruit, not because I'm eating healthy or on a diet. It's because I'm craving something sweet. And now fruit gives me that sweetness I need, especially grapes. So let's keep going. Most of Americans, we will eat, and most people we see on Instagram or social media, we see people eat really healthy Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday. Those are the times where we're working out, we're eating healthy. And then when Friday, Saturday, Sunday comes along, here comes the alcohol, here comes the cheat days and the burgers and the fries and the ice cream, and we binge eat and we overeat and we overindulge on bad foods. So instead, I'd like you to try. I'm not saying you need to eat a burger every day or a cookie every day or anything like that. I'm saying let's mix it up. So you are still indulging in the foods that you crave, just not overindulging. So you are having a piece of chocolate, but you're learning that, you know what, I can have this piece of chocolate today, I can have it tomorrow, I can have it any day of the week. So, for example, if I'm craving pad thai on a Tuesday, I'll have pad thai on a Tuesday. If I'm craving a salad on a Saturday, I'll eat a salad on a Saturday. But I don't restrict myself to just eating whatever I want on weekends. I mix it up. Now I kind of want to talk about, we can still eat the foods we love just in a healthier way. We can make them with better ingredients. We can cook them ourselves instead of buying, the In-N-Out burger. We can actually make our own coffee at home instead of going to Starbucks where they add in the barista blend, all the XX sugars and things like this. So you can mix it up. You don't have to eat good just Monday through Friday. And when I was told this, my mind was blown because I thought eating healthy was Monday through Friday and weekends turning up. No, if I want to turn up on a Tuesday, I will. So, we need to focus on the how rather than the what. And how we eat is just as not important as what we eat. So how you do one thing is how you do everything. Whatever is going on in your life is what's happening on your plate. Let me say that again. Whatever is going on in your life is what is happening on your plate. So, what is on your plate is a reflection of your life. If you're busy, and the way that you eat too, the way you live your life is the way that you're going to eat. So, if you're very busy, go, 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 and frantic by nature, chances are you're going to have a busy or frantic way of eating. You're going to be eating too quickly or not paying attention to what's going on in your body. If you're a perfectionist, chances are you're going to be a perfectionist around food too. So that's something to think about. What is going on in your life? How are you living your life? That's typically what's going to happen with your relationship with food. So it's important to eat with intention and attention. So ask yourself, what intention, rather than focusing on what the food is or focus on the intention behind what you're eating. Ask yourself, am I eating this donut because I'm hungry, or am I eating this because I um am feeling some certain way? So, some foods can be healthy or unhealthy depending on the intention behind them. A salad can actually be unhealthy for you because you can be so stressed out eating a salad. So just because you're eating salads doesn't mean that it's healthy. I mean, when you have a good positive emotion around the food that you eat, you're going to be able to absorb the nutrients in a better way. So it's time to start getting curious. Instead of asking yourself, what should I eat? Or what is healthier? Or what is the most least calorie thing that I can possibly eat? Especially when you're going out to order at a restaurant. Ask yourself, why am I craving this food? You know, am I craving this cheesy enchilada because I'm craving dairy? Or is it because I just need this enchilada, whatever it may be? Why am I eating this? And why is this important? And why did I react this way when I chose this food that I ate? Also, how does this food make me feel? In yoga, I call it the shesha, the residue. How is this food going to sit with me? How does my body feel right now? This is something to ask yourself, but all of these questions before you eat food and after you eat food. And what do I feel like eating right now? What food is going to satisfy my cravings versus asking what should I eat, or what is the healthiest version, or what is the thing that has the least carbs, etc. So, how to focus on your health in an intuitive way? Well, we can start by eating more whole foods. Always eating more whole foods, less processed foods is good for you, but we need to eat them proactively. So, what is proactive eating? The majority of our decisions around food are very much reactive decisions that um to being mindless, or we eat because we're stressed out or we're really hungry. And how many times have you just overeaten because you were really hungry but you didn't have anything prepared? This is why it's really important to plan out what you're going to eat and eat it before you get too hungry. We don't want to eat when we're ravenous because we're going to eat way too much. We're going to overeat. So it's actually that we have to start slowing down and listening to what those hunger cues. And as women, we actually, and this is why I think eating more is good. And I do talk about this in my Get Well program, and I talk about this in my one on one health coaching. But it is important to eat more at one time, like your healthy fats, your proteins, and your fiber, and things like this, that's going to keep you full. And is going to reduce the amount of times that you snack. And it's also very important to meal prep and have things ready on deck when you need them. So staying prepared, carrying the almonds, the protein bar, or the fruit with you in your purse or when you're traveling is important to, so you're honoring your hunger hormones. So when you sit down to eat, you're not overindulging. So, mindful eating will support you in your health too. Most of us eat when we're stressed and on the go, or when our mind is elsewhere. So often we eat without even realizing. So it's important to prepare your body to eat. This is very important, especially when it comes to getting your digestive juices flowing and strengthening your digestive fluid. I kind of like making my eating my food more of a ritual. So when I was a binge eater, and there's a ritual to it. And if you are a binge eater, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, okay, I am going to stop at, I was so bad at binge eating. I would stop at multiple fast food restaurants to get whatever I was craving. Then I would sit down, have my soda, have multiple sodas just to get ready. I would set up the table in a certain way. It was a very ritual like thing, a ritual like thing when it came to actually binge eating harming your body. But I started changing my ritual. Let me shift and change my ritual around food in general and make it a positive thing. So if you're a binge eater, ritual around food, whether you know it or not, there's probably some ritual whenever you decide that you're going to do a binge. So I think that it's important to do some deep breathing before you eat. Turn off your phone, put your phone away. There's so many times where we're on our phone scrolling and scarfing food down our face. We're not paying attention to if we're hungry or not. Turn the TV off, clean up your space so you feel calm. You don't want to be eating in a frantic space because then you're going to eat frantically. Maybe even light some candles before you eat. Make it really nice. And, I think it's also important, date yourself. When you eat alone, living alone or eating alone, I think is very hard. So, what I have heard, and I mean, you don't have to do this, but what I've heard is if you eat in front of a mirror, it can be like you're eating with someone, but then it can be awkward to look at yourself. I get it. But maybe not turn on the TV. Maybe have like a date night with yourself or make a date night with your family or your friends when you eat around food, and check in with yourself so often. How am I feeling? We can think of this in yoga. In yoga, we take breaks in yoga to check on how we're feeling. We take the child's pose every so often. Here, how am I feeling? Do I feel full? And a lot of times, in our culture, we're raised, you better eat all your whole plate before you get up from the table. We don't have to eat our whole plate. We eat until we're full, and we must check in with ourselves. So it's often not the food that is the root cause of the weight gain. Thinking about emotion here is very important and has an impact on our weight gain. For example, if your excess weight has come from emotional eating, it's not the food that's the problem, it's the emotion. So if you find it impossible to make healthy choices because you're stressed or maybe you're sad, it's the stress that's the problem. It's the sadness that's the problem. And those feelings need to be addressed. And once you address those feelings, then the food is going to start sorting itself out on its own. So asking yourself, what emotions are you usually feeling when you decide that you're going to make your decisions? And what can you do to support these emotions? So maybe it's like you need to journal. Maybe it's you need to call someone and tell them about the emotions that you're feeling instead of using food. Or get a health coach, someone that can keep you accountable or help you keep your emotions in check, or someone that you can talk to about these strong emotions that you have and how you typically emotionally eat. So I highly recommend getting a health coach, someone who's been there, someone who's going through it, and someone who knows how to handle it. When I say a health coach, I mean me. LOL. So understand why you're emotionally or binge eating. The majority of the time we blame the food, but when you ask yourself why you're emotionally eating, you'll find that the real reason is that your health isn't where you want it to be. And when I say health, I'm talking about spiritual health, your emotional health, your mental health, your physical health, etc. So when you go eat something, ask yourself, what do I really need right now? And what else would make me feel the way that I'm feeling other than eating it through food, if that makes sense. I hope I said that right. So if you're feeling sad, maybe not grab the ice cream, the chips, the candy, maybe call somebody about your sadness. And I know many of people who eat out of habit or out of boredom just because they're lacking connection. So maybe get out, connect with nature, connect with a friend, connect with a hobby or skill that you love to do, something that you love to do instead, or a long lost hobby. When you find the why, it is important for you to make time for whatever it is that you are feeling deficient in. And also, small habits over time beat short bursts of restriction every single time. So keep it simple. It's actually so helpful and underrated. We don't need to take drastic restrictive action in order to see results. And it's so much more beneficial to add to your current lifestyle. So you you need to focus on sustainable change, long-term change, or on the feeling of feeling good. So many people are focused on picking up someone else's routine as well. I mean, we see those how you eat in a day or how I eat in a day videos, and we think that we need to eat like that. Well, newsflash, everybody is so different. We are all so unique and need different things and have different things that make us feel nourished. So, or maybe it is being inspired by somebody else and adding something to your routine and asking yourself, is this does this really work for me? And do you actually like it? There's been many times like I have gone to the gym just because I feel like it's the right thing to do, but I might not feel like going to the gym and may feel like going for a walk instead or going to a yoga class instead. So it's not doing things that you have to do, because when you're having to do the things, sometimes it feels like a chore. So doing things because you really want to do them. And also the ripple effect is so important to remember. So for example, when you drink a glass of water or talk to yourself kindly, you naturally want to take care of your body by choosing nourishing foods that make you feel good. So that's where I want to end it today. But I also want to talk about ways that I can help you. I want to say that if you're ready to start making sustainable change and start truly healing your relationship with food and dealing with your binge eating and your emotional eating, book your free one-on-one discovery call with me. I will link my I will link the link in the description. Also, you can join me for my group Get Well program, where we talk about how to create sustainable change when it comes around food. We talk about meditation, we talk about breathing, we talk about self care, we talk about nutrition and how to build plates, how to meal prep, how to have strong, healthy routines with yourself. We talk about sexuality, spirituality, and so much more. And the best part is you get to connect with people who are going through the same thing as you, and you have the support and you'll feel heard and you'll feel guided. And yeah, so check out my website at Well with Serena. You can connect with me at Well with Serena on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you so much for joining me.